Issues between India and Pakistan are always in the news and mostly for the wrong reasons. The May border clash still haunts the headlines, replayed until the gunfire echoes in memory. Each nation's media paints the other as the villain. While Pakistan leans on its allies China, Turkey, and even Trump, who has lately spoken in its favor, India has emerged as a lonely economic giant. Its vast expatriate network is quietly hijacking global tech companies and even infiltrating foreign governments. The rivalry is no longer just on the border, it's playing out in boardrooms and parliaments worldwide. Yet these rivals were not always divided. They were born from the same soil, shared the same roads, told the same stories. But in 1947, a midnight line split the land and split its people. Today, we follow the stories of India and Pakistan, after separation, the tale of two brothers who chose to live apart in a land that once honored the joint family. A land where neighbors were kin, where festivals were shared, and where the idea of unity was stitched into everyday life. But when the bond broke, the brothers walked away carrying the same memories and very different dreams. What followed was not just a new beginning, it was a race to define who they would become without each other. In 1947, India and Pakistan began life apart with vastly different inheritances. India, larger in size and population, kept the capital, the bulk of industry, and many institutions. Pakistan, born smaller and scattered in two wings separated by 1,600 kilometers of Indian territory, inherited key agricultural regions and a strategic geographic position between Central and South Asia. Both nations were scarred by the same tragedy: millions displaced, hundreds of thousands dead, yet both emerged with fierce determination to survive. From this unequal starting point, we can measure how far each has traveled in the decades since. The early years, 1947 to 65. While India set its sights on industrial self-reliance under Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, launching massive projects like the Bhilai Steel Plant and the Indian Institutes of Technology, IITs, Pakistan's first governments focused on survival, setting up ministries in borrowed buildings and writing its constitution from a blank page. Yet within 2 decades, both had something to show. While India was rolling out the Hindustan Ambassador car in 1958, symbolizing its dream of homegrown industry, Pakistan under President Ayub Khan had transformed Karachi into a bustling trade hub, recording some of the fastest economic growth rates in Asia by the early 1960s. Policy crossroads shaped both destinies. India's socialist planning slowed its private sector expansion, while Pakistan's centralized military-led governance spurred short-term growth but deepened political divides. And then came the first shared tragedy after independence, the 1965 war. Though fought on the battlefield, its aftermath was economic. India accelerated defense manufacturing, Pakistan doubled down on alliances with the US and China. In those early decades, shared admiration often came from sportsmanship, like the hockey teams of both countries dominating the world stage. Pakistan's 1960 Olympic gold and India's earlier hat trick of golds were moments of subcontinental pride, even if celebrated on opposite sides of the border. But even this joy sharpened into rivalry as each sought to outdo the other in hockey finals. On the military side, both armies emerged from the same British-Indian Army traditions, sharing uniforms, drills, and even some equipment in the early years, yet quickly diverging in strategy. India began focusing on building a large standing army backed by domestic arms production, while Pakistan invested heavily in elite mobility and foreign-supplied technology, setting the tone for decades of competitive defense buildup. As summer of 1965 dawned, tensions along the border boiled over into open conflict. Operation Gibraltar saw Pakistan's attempt to infiltrate forces into Kashmir, igniting fierce battles in the mountains. For 17 brutal days, Indian and Pakistani soldiers clashed in places like the strategic Kemkaran sector, where tanks rumbled and infantry fought for every inch. Civilians faced fear and uncertainty as towns like Lahore and Amritsar braced for air raids. Though a ceasefire was brokered with international pressure, the war left scars on both nations, fueling nationalism, military expansion, and an enduring mistrust that would shadow relations for decades. Years of upheaval, 1966 to 80. The 1970s were storms for both brothers. While India was testing its first nuclear device at Pokhran in 1974 under Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, asserting itself as a regional power, Pakistan was reeling from the secession of East Pakistan, now Bangladesh, in 1971, a blow that reshaped its national psyche. Yet even in loss, Pakistan under Zulfikar Ali Bhutto launched ambitious projects like the heavy mechanical complex in Taxila and laid the foundations of its own nuclear program. While India wrestled with the political turmoil of the emergency 1975 to 77, Pakistan began developing an unlikely strength, a resilient labor export economy. Millions of Pakistanis migrated to the Gulf, sending back remittances that became a backbone of its foreign exchange reserves. The 1975 Hockey World Cup victory for India and Pakistan's win in the 1978 edition were rare examples where each side could respect the other's skill while fiercely guarding their own pride. These tournaments turned stadiums into cauldrons of national emotion, every goal cheered as if it were a battle won. Militarily, this was the decade when the arms race matured. India inducted the MiG-21 fighters in large numbers, built the Vijayanta tanks and expanded its navy, while Pakistan acquired the Mirage III from France, bolstered its artillery and refined doctrines for rapid offensive strikes. Both sides began covert nuclear research, with each success quietly shadowed by the knowledge that the other was racing toward the same capability. The 1975 Hockey World Cup held in Kuala Lumpur was more than just a sporting event, it was a stage where national pride and rivalry played out with every stroke of the stick. The final saw India face Pakistan in a pulsating match. India's slick passing and strategic play battled against Pakistan's flair and speed. The crowd was split, the tension palpable. In a nail-biting finish, India clinched victory by a single goal, sparking jubilant celebrations back home and heartache across the border. This match was replayed endlessly on radios and televisions, becoming a symbol of hope and rivalry, uniting fans in shared passion even amid political turmoil. Shaping identities 1980 to 99. The 1980s brought both opportunity and challenge. While India was making cinematic waves with Bollywood's golden era and laying the groundwork for the IT revolution in Bangalore, Pakistan was playing a pivotal role in the Cold War as a frontline state during the Soviet-Afghan War. The streets of Peshawar swelled with refugees, arms, and covert alliances. While India liberalized its economy in 1991 under Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao and Finance Minister Manmohan Singh, opening the doors to global trade and investment, Pakistan made a different leap, unveiling the J-F-17 Thunder fighter jet program in collaboration with China, and becoming one of the few Muslim countries with indigenous aircraft manufacturing capability. The 1998 nuclear tests, Pokhran Roman II in India and Chagai in Pakistan, were moments of dangerous pride. Both nations had now declared themselves nuclear powers, each citing security against the other, yet also joining the same exclusive global club. In cricket, this was the era of icons, Sachin Tendulkar and Wasim Akram, players admired even by rival fans for their sheer brilliance. India's 1983 World Cup win and Pakistan's 1992 triumph became national myths, replayed endlessly on television. The rivalry grew hotter with every India-Pakistan clash, where victory meant bragging rights for years. On the military front, the competition reached technological heights. India tested the Agni series of missiles and upgraded its Su-30 fighter fleet, while Pakistan developed the Gauri and Shaheen ballistic missiles, enhancing its strike reach. Naval expansion saw India commissioning aircraft carriers and nuclear submarines, while Pakistan invested in French-designed Agosta submarines and missile boats, ensuring a credible deterrent in the Arabian Sea. The stadium buzzed with electricity on April 18, 1986 at Sharjah's cricket ground. India and Pakistan faced off in the final of the Australasia Cup, a match that would etch itself into cricketing lore. The game came down to the final ball. Pakistan needed 4 runs to win, tension so thick it felt like the air itself was holding its breath. Javed Mindad, calm under pressure, stepped up. The bowler charged in, the crowd rising as the ball flew toward Mindad's bat. With a perfect swing, Mindad sent the ball soaring over the boundary for 6, sealing an improbable victory. Pandemonium erupted on the Pakistani side while Indian fans were left stunned. That last ball 6 wasn't just a cricket shot, it was a moment of triumph that transcended sport, igniting pride and hope across Pakistan and becoming a symbol of daring and destiny in the subcontinent's fierce rivalry. The new millennium, 2000 to 20. The 21st century saw both brothers racing in different lanes. While India nurtured its software and service sector giants like Infosys and Tata Consultancy Services, turning Hyderabad and Pune into global tech hubs, Pakistan made strides in sports manufacturing, becoming the world's largest producer of hand-stitched footballs in Sialkot, the official supplier for multiple FIFA World Cups. While India launched Mangalyaan in 2013, reaching Mars on a budget smaller than the Hollywood film Gravity, Pakistan expanded its motorway network, linking Karachi to Peshawar and transforming domestic trade logistics. Tragedies altered paths yet again. The 2008 Mumbai attacks reshaped India's internal security policies, while the 2005 Kashmir earthquake forced Pakistan to overhaul its disaster management systems. Music often softened the rivalry's edge. Artists like Atif Aslam, Rahat Fateh Ali Khan, and A.R. Rahman found audiences across the border, showing that cultural appreciation could survive political divides. But on the sports field, the stakes only rose. The Indian Premier League drew international stars, while the Pakistan Super League carved its own niche. Every rare India-Pakistan cricket match became a global event, with audiences in the hundreds of millions. Militarily, the post-2000s saw India acquiring advanced multi-role fighters like the Rafale, upgrading its missile defenses and boosting naval power with stealth destroyers, while Pakistan enhanced its air force with JF-17 Block III variants, bought Chinese frigates, and modernized its armored corps. Both sides engaged in intense surveillance, cyber warfare capabilities, and border defense upgrades, ensuring that the rivalry remained as strategic as it was emotional. Today, while India is building one of the largest renewable energy programs in the world, Pakistan is quietly becoming a key player in the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor (CPEC), a project that could redefine trade in the region. While India boasts a space program that plans moon landings, Pakistan has cultivated a massive diaspora whose remittances surpass $30 billion annually, powering its economy from afar. Two brothers, once bound by shared courtyards and family dinners, now live in separate houses, each with its own set of strengths, scars, and ambitions. Their journeys have diverged, but their reflections in the mirror of history remain linked, reminding us that development is not a single race. It's the sum of countless crossroads, tragedies, and triumphs. In recent years, the Kartarpur corridor emerged as a rare beacon of hope, a visa-free passage allowing Indian Sikh pilgrims to visit one of their holiest sites in Pakistan. This corridor, symbolizing potential for peace and shared heritage, stands in contrast to darker shadows cast by espionage and mistrust. The arrest and conviction of Kulbhushan Jadhav, accused by Pakistan of espionage and sabotage, intensified tensions, reflecting the ongoing challenges to trust and cooperation between the two nations. In today's pop culture, collaborations still happen quietly. Coke Studio Pakistan's music finds fans in Indian cities, while Bollywood films still get streamed in Pakistani homes. The marriage of Pakistan's cricket captain Shoaib Malik and Indian tennis star Sania Mirza became a widely celebrated symbol of love transcending borders, capturing hearts on both sides and reminding millions that personal bonds can flourish even amid political divides. Yet the ceremonial flag lowering at Wagah remains the most symbolic daily reminder of rivalry. Soldiers in perfectly synchronized aggression, cheered by patriotic crowds on both sides. The elaborate march with high kicks, rapid stomps, and stern faces is a theatrical display of rivalry and pride. Spectators cheer loudly, waving flags and chanting slogans. Yet beneath the bravado is a shared acknowledgement of a complex relationship, two nations bound by history, culture, and conflict. The ceremony has become a symbolic meeting point, where despite tensions, the rhythm of footsteps echoes a shared past and the hope for future peace. Defense budgets climb every year, with India investing in space-based reconnaissance and hypersonic missiles, and Pakistan enhancing its drone fleets and precision strike systems. The race continues, not just for military dominance, but for influence, prestige, and the ability to define their place in the world.
The algorithm is pushing us into a rat race, but with wisdom, we seek an escape. Here at House of Wisdom, we delve into topics that challenge conventional narratives. That's why our channel is dedicated to uncovering the true context of history, piecing together fragments to reveal a more accurate and inclusive story. Understanding history is crucial. It shapes our identity, informs our decisions, and helps us learn from past mistakes. By uncovering the true stories of our ancestors, we can better appreciate the diverse tapestry of human experience and build a more informed and empathetic world. Our goal is to bring you well-researched and engaging content that sheds light on the true stories. But we can't do it alone. We need your support. Please subscribe, like, and share. While most of our timeline is trying to brain drain, let's focus on brain gain.